So yesterday, we have started with IAM service. It deals with users and their permissions. Okay. So what set of permissions you want to give for the user, which is going to log into your AWS account. So in the real-time scenario, we have multiple AWS accounts will be there. So they will call us as environments like dev environment, SIT, UAT, and production. Okay. So these are the environments they are using it. UAT or something like staging. Okay. So whatever the environment name they are telling it. Okay, so this is the dev account URL, this is SAT account URL, this is UAT account URL. So this is production account URL. So in the real-time scenario, any account you created, this account creation will be taken care by the admin person. Okay, so admin, AWS admin will be there. So that person who is having more than like good experience, like 8 to 10 years experience. So that person will perform the key role for admin role. So he will not only working for the single project, he will be working on the multiple project. So just we need to send an email or I'm new to the team, just I required access for multiple environments. So I'm working as this project. If you send an email, so immediately he will create a user details for all these environments. So what exactly the AWS admin will do? So you will be the part of not root user. So you will become as a IMA user. Okay, so IMA user except root, remaining all the users are the teammates are the members who are working in the project. All people will come under the IMA user. Okay, so just the admin will have the access. So defaultly admin will have the everything access. If you click anywhere, okay, so the person who created account, okay, so that will become an admin user. So if you type anything, IMA, any service, if you type it, so the admin will have everything permissions. He can create the resources, he can delete it, he can edit it, he can update the resources. Okay, so everything like creating the IMA user, it is called as a one type of resource one. New IMA user creation, that is also a resource creation. Okay, admin will have the all permissions will be having, but if you want to give new permissions for the users, so the yesterday we have created users Kiran and Soumya. So these users, so what type of permissions you want to set it, so that depends upon your policy documents. Policies. What are the policy we are attaching to the user? Policy is nothing but set of permissions. Which service you require permission, and in that service, what functionality you require the permissions. So that will be handled at the policy level. So we can add multiple services, multiple permissions, we can set it. Just we'll go to the policy. Go to the policies. So there are two types of policies are there. So one is AWS policy, that is called as a managed policy. Another is custom policy. The policy that comes along with AWS. The default policies which are there in the policy section. So those policies we are going to call it as the managed policies. If you are creating your own policy, that will become as a custom managed policies. So AWS provided things. So that comes with AWS. These are all the things that comes with AWS. Okay, so these are the managed policies. Okay, so they will give the requirement for us. Okay, so just we need to create a policy here. Just click on create a policy. If you are good at JSON writing, we can go and create the JSON. Okay, so if you are not good at the JSON, we need to know the additional syntax. So which are the services you want to work it? Just to type the search for the service name. I want to work with EC2. Just to search for the EC2, click on the service name. Okay, so EC2, these many functionality will be supported. Under the list, we have these many things. So I want to go with all describe means no need to select all the describe. Okay, so select one of the describe. Go to the JSON. You can see automatically Okay, version, statement, statement ID, effect, action, resources. All EC2 servers I want to apply it. So whenever you have seen the service name EC2. So I want to get with all describe means. So just after the describe name, any name is there. So just will apply the star. Go to the visual editor. EC2 describe star. Selected 146 out of 167. But we have selected only one. You can, if you are updating here, automatically it will be reflected in the JSON. If you are updating the JSON, automatically it will update in the editor. So I went to the JSON and just what are the describe instances are there. So I put the star. Automatically, if you go to the visual editor, go to the actions. You can see wherever you see the describe, automatically all are selected. So all the describe I want to get. I'm not editing it, just I want to do the describe client routes, client server poles, client describe host, everything I want to get the permissions. So what are the common name is there? Describe is the common name. After describe, whatever the name is there. So if you want to get it, we will go with describe. Same thing if you want to go with list. So here we have a list is there. So I have describe is there. Same thing similarly, I have get is there. Get verified, get transit, get groups, get VPN, get list. So if we search for any one of the Git, automatically if you go for the JSON editor, you can see list. Get IMP poll actions are there. I don't want to go with get. I want to get all the permissions means, so we can remove it and we can apply the star. Automatically you can go to the visual editor. You can see get star, describe star. Two things action is selected. Out of 167, 162 we have selected. Manually we haven't selected 162, but still we have got all the list operations. Expand it. You can see get operations also we got it. Instead of selecting the individual one, if you want to go with get list, even if you want to go with other options, list options also you want to do. So list snapshot, list is there. So directly, no need to select here also. If you know how to write the JSON, already we can see the example of the Git. Just to go to the JSON, we can put one more comma, take, paste it. Instead of get, we can go with list star. That's it. Okay. So remove the comma. Okay. Automatically list get describe everything action is selected. Just go to the visual editor. You can see 3 actions has been selected. If you know writing one thing, you can write everything through JSON. So if you want to make the work easier, so either we have to go individually. Now 167 is there. So we have selected 160. List. Get describe. 3 options we have selected. So the list also I haven't selected from here. I have went to the JSON. I have selected the list. Same thing. If you want to write something, these many options are there. So you want to get the delete permissions also. Delete subnet, delete snapshot, delete route tables, delete network interface. I want to get all these permissions. So what is the common thing is there? Delete is there. So if you want to go with individual means, we have to select the individual option here. I want to get all the permissions means, just will go to the JSON and we will add comma. Our service name EC2 and we have to go with delete. That's it. Again, if we go to the visual editor, you can see 4 actions. Expand it. Delete star, describe star, get star, list star. List 167 functions are there. We have selected 44. Read 31, 29 circle. Right 401 operations are there. 74 permissions we got it. Click on right. You can see delete related, automatically it got selected. Okay. So two ways we can do it. Either if you know how to write the JSON, directly we can use the JSON documents like this. So you don't know, just will copy this. So this is the syntax. So open bracket and close bracket. So version, statement, statement. Even if you don't, if you remove this statement ID also, it will works. Effect, allow means we are allowing the permissions. You want to delay permissions, like nobody should delete it. You can put delay. So we are denying the permission for describing, listed, delete also we are listing it. Get also we are listing it. We can apply the delay. Two operations only will be supported. So one is allow operation, another one is delay operation. Okay, so defaultly all are delayed only. If you are manually providing the allow only, you will get the permissions. Okay, so if you are not attaching the any policy, means all are denied. So if you are attaching the policy only for the allow operations, so default all are denied. So just we are providing the allow operations and we can add it. Okay, so just if you want to add one more thing, just we need to put the comma, just we need to copy it. Now here, instead of EC2, I'm going with IAM. So I want to get the list star. If you want to work with multiple services, one is EC2 service. I want to work with IMA also. Just put the IMA here. I want to get the list users, list policies, list groups, everything I wanted. Just list it, copy it. Again, we can go here. So if you see the visual editor, we have only one service with 4 actions are there. Now I'm going to the editor. I'm going to update this JSON. Error is there. Just we remove the error. Okay. At the end of, we should not have comma. IMA list we are taking 2 service working at. Go to the visual editor. EC2 4 actions, IMA 1 actions. Automatically you can add here itself, or we can delete it. IMA I am deleting it. So go to the JSON, automatically IMA will be deleted here. How we are updating in the visual editor, automatically it will update in the JSON. So if you are good at JSON, we can write the entire JSON. If you are not good at the JSON, so we can go to the visual editor and we can. So if you want to add EC2, now I want to add IMA also. So if you are good at, we can directly write the JSON, or we can add more permissions options is there. So EC2 is there. I want to add one more permissions. So just I will go to the IMA. I will select the IMA. Same actions. What are the actions you want to put it? So list. List, you can select any one of the list. Automatically it will be reflected in your IMA list. I don't want to go with all list. I want to go with few list only, means the respective name of the list we need to provide it. Okay, so based upon the permissions which we are setting for the policy, if you are attaching this policy to the user, so user will have EC2 as well as IMA. So the admin has given a permissions for the EC2 level and IMA level. Okay, so entire IMA will be plays a crucial role with your what is your policy document we are attaching. So we need to request the admin, right? So I'm working on the EC2 service, I'm working on the S3, I'm working on the IMA service. So admin give the permissions for the IMA. What type of sort of permissions are required? Like you want to create it or view it or delete it. So if you are giving the delete option means you can delete it. So if he is not providing the delete option means you don't have the option to delete the servers. You are not authorized to perform this action, will get it. Okay. So policy is very important in the IMA. So just practice for one of the policy manually. If you don't understand it, so go to the visual editor and select the servers and what actions you want to perform it. So not only the 2 services, we can perform with n number of services. S3. Select S3. What are the actions? List. I want to list the buckets like that. So automatically we go to services. visualizer, select service, S3, S3, list, package. Okay. So n number of services we can add in the action tab. Not only the single service, we can add a number of services. What are the services you require the permissions? And this right side is very important. Okay, if you don't know the information, what exactly they are asking it, so we can go to the visualizer for each and every operation, S3. So list, what this list bucket will do. Just click on the question mark. Okay, so list multi-pod upload parts, what exactly this will do. Grant permission to upload multi-pods. If you want to upload the multiple things. Okay, so this type of set of permissions we can do with the help of the policy document. Okay, so this policy is very important for entire IMA will rely on this policy. Okay, so if you are good at writing single one means we will write directly. Okay, so if you are putting multiple means we will append the list. This simply we are going to call it as a list. Okay, n number of services we want it. So if you want to write manually, just will give the service name, colon that function name. So list buckets. Open brackets and close the brackets. Okay, so service name, function name, service name, function, service name, functions. So all list means all list, all get, all delete, everything. So this will be your policy document. Once you select this all the options, so we'll click on the next and we'll give the policy name here. Okay, custom users policy will set it. Any naming convention we can use it just for our understanding. So we'll click on create policy. Okay, so once you created, the policy will be created. So we can edit this policy a number of times. So just we can expand it. So we have the option to edit it. Just click on the edit it. Again, it will go to the JSON editor only. This is JSON. If you want to update it directly, we can update it, or we can go to the visualizer. So 3 services are there. So if you want to add more permissions, if you want to update the existing service, so just expand it. I want to write it. So select the, I want to create the bucket. I want to create the job. So automatically we can go to the JSON. Like this, it will be reflected. Okay, so generally list, view, read, get, anything, delete will. So defaultly they will give with star. Don't give with delete specific activity. Okay, so this is the way we can write the policy. If anybody is talking at the IMA means, so they will talk about your policy. Policy is nothing but set of permissions we are giving for the user, which service you want to do it and which permissions you want to enable it. Okay, so just we'll apply the policies and we will check whether the policies are working or not. Just we'll go to the dashboard and we will view the URL to the user. Okay, so this is a user URL for IMA users. Okay, once you log into the company, so directly they will share this URL. They will not share this URL with us. Route details will not share it. So they will share with IML like this. Account ID default it will comes. So we need to select your user, Kiran at the rate of 123. Okay, so like that. Once you log in it, so what are the options you are seeing by the admin user? So if you click on the policies, you can see all the policies. You can click on the roles. So we can have all the roles. We can see the users group, anything. Admin can do it. But when it comes to the normal IMA user, go to the IMA service. Okay, so defaultly you will get the access to that. So if you want to get the readiness, so get permissions, list permissions, everything we should get it. Get star, list star if you apply it. So now we can get the every permissions for the career. So even if you click on the users, you are able to see the users. If you click on the roles, you're able to see it. If you click on the policies, we are getting list policies missing. So if you add the list star, you can view the listed, but you can't have option to create it. So we can tell that list, if you want to add it, then just we'll go to it. So we'll go to the users. What is the current user is there? So what is the policy document he has attached it? Just will expand it. What are the permissions? We have only two, list roles and list users. We can have the access to only the view users and roles permissions, but he don't have the permissions to the policies. So what we will do, just click on the edit here. Instead of giving everything individual thing, I want to go with all the things. Just will come here. I want to go with list roles, list users, list policies, everything I want to go it. That's it. Okay, so even if you remove also, this is fine. Just click on next, save the changes. Once you do the changes for the user, now you can see, got it. Just to go user and refresh the page. Refresh the policy. So you can expand the policy. Now you got the list star. All the list related permissions we are giving it. Just we need to come to the current user and refresh the page. Now we can see the list policies. Wherever you can see listed, we can have it. But when we click on the create policy, we can have the permissions, everything. Same thing. Identity providers, we can see it. Policies, we can see it. Roles, we can see it. Users, we can see it. User groups, we can see. So list permissions, everything I have given. So list star, we have given it. We can see the list. But when you click on the list, get group is missing. Only we have given the list, only the view access. But get, if you want to get these permissions, again, we need to go to the user and give the get star. Okay, so then we'll get the get related permissions also. Just we'll go here, edit again the policy. Instead of list, get star. All permissions I want to set it. Just come here and next, save the changes. Go to here, refresh the page for current user. Okay, now if you click on the user groups, you are able to it. If you click it, so get also get it. So if you remove all the permissions from here, just edit the document. So I'm going to remove the list and get. Okay, so I'm going to give only the list users. Get users. List and get users only I'm giving it. Click on next, save changes. Okay, so now if we come to the current user, if you browse it, again will be access denied. Okay, so the based upon the user login. So whatever the policy document we are attaching to the, go to the users, go to the respective user, which user giving. So what are the policy document we are attaching to the respective user? So what permissions we are setting for the user? So those permissions only will be reflected for the user. Okay, so that is the concept of policy. Same thing how we are applying for the user. I don't want to give the policy for the individual user. So if multiple users are doing the same kind of work in the project, so I will create one policy. That policy we are categorized as the groups. We will create a multiple groups, testing group, development group, security group, miscellaneous group. Like that, we'll create a group and we will add the users to the group. Okay, if you want to add the new user, directly we will add the user. And here also we have the permissions. I don't want to set the permissions for the individual user. I want to set the permissions for the entire group. So any new persons also added, just click on the permissions, add permissions, attach policy. Just what is the policy you have generated, custom policy, we can add the permissions. Okay, so now what are the permissions are there in this? Same permissions will be reflected for all the users in the group. So whenever new person also joining in the team, So directly we can add the user to the respective group. So permissions which are given for the group, it will be reflected for that user. Okay, so no need to set the permissions every time. It's a one time of active, we'll set it and we'll add to the group. Okay, new users will be coming, old users are leaving the project, anything is fine. Just will come here and we can delete the user. All the permissions will be gone. Okay, already the active users are working in the project. Just we will create a groups and we'll attach the policy to the group. Okay. Okay. So this is the example of users, user groups and policy. So how to write a policy, either JSON document or the visual editor, anything you can give your option, you can choose it, and we should know how the policy will works. Okay. Understood, guys? Any doubts, any questions?
Yes, sir. How will you know what all permissions to be given if you are working in an organization? Will they give a list of permissions or how it works? And
No,
also in graphical, I mean, when we are using the visual format, can't we select multiple options at once?
yeah, we can select the multiple, right? So you can select it like if you go for this particular policy.
No, we are selecting one by one, right? So is there a option called select all and then?
Yeah, select option is there. So if you want to go
Okay.
with the editor option here, so if you go to the visual editor, so S3, so multiple options like list I want to select means all we can select it.
Okay. Good.
So list related, read related, write related, permission tagging. So all the options we can select it, all S3 actions. S3 dot star will comes.
Okay.
S3 star means S3 related all permissions we get it. Okay. So just will go to the visual editor. Same thing if you want to get IAM all permissions means, so all IAM actions are there. Just will go to the IAM star. So list, read this 38 permissions, 31, 62, 23, 16. All the permissions you wanted, just will put the, so all are selected. Automatically will be reflected in a JSON. Okay. So individual permissions we can select it, or we can go with entire IMA. I want to get full permissions means just will give the star.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the way. So we have to define the policy. This policy writing is very important. So in the interview question, they will ask it, can you write a sample policy document for me? So we need to remember this capitals. Everything is a version capital statement, effect. A should be capital under the action. So you can provide any one of the action. IMA colon star, S3 colon star, anything is fine, but they will look for the syntax. Okay. So whenever the action starts, you need to have the list. Okay. So this is the policy. So IMA, if they're discussing about the IMA part, users or permissions means everything will be mainly focused on a policy document only. Okay. So the people who are not from the coding background, they don't know about anything. So just they can use the visual option. Okay. N number of services we can select it, N number of actions we can perform it, and we can create a custom policy. So now I don't want to go with the custom policy. Already with the predefined policies are there. Just click on the policy. So I want to work with EC2. Just search for the EC2. EC2 related already AWS is providing the multiple permissions. So if you want to get the full permissions for the EC2 full access, just expand it. Same. Okay. Effect, action, resources, multiple statements also we can include it like this. Load balancer, I want to give it. CloudWatch, colon star, full permissions, auto scaling, full permissions. EC2 deals with CloudWatch, auto scaling, load balancer, every options will be there. So we can add. Same thing, if you want to check only the read-only access, you want to get it. Describe. All permissions we are not giving, only describe is nothing but read-only. We are not giving the permissions for delete. EC2 only describe functions only we are giving it. So remaining, this is a load balancer related thing. So this is one of the service. CloudWatch is one service. How we are written S3, same thing CloudWatch we have it. Same thing if you go for S3. This is EC2 related. Same thing you can search for IMA also. Search for the IMA. So instead of creating the full one, so I want to give the full access for my IMA. Just expand it. IMA star. So IMA also related to the organizations is there. So describe everything they have put it. We can put describe star, list star like this. Okay. So if you want to get the full access for the IMA, so no need to go custom policies. Already, if you search for the IMA, I want to give full access means I can select this policy. Okay. So for each and every services based upon the people are working on the multiple projects. So they have created a policy, default policies that are available in the policy section. You can go with the default policies or you can create your own custom policy and we can attach the policy to the users or user groups. Okay, so that is the way we can add the policy. So next thing is very important, that is roles. Okay, so what are roles are nothing but service to service communication. So what is meant by service to service communication is nothing but, so S3 is one service. EC2 is one service. IMA is one service. So if you want to provide a communication from the EC2 to the S3 or S3 to ETC, so which is the source server service and which is the destination service. So if you want to provide a communication to the service to service, communication has to be happen. So when you are sending from EC2, I'm going to request for S3 details. So S3 will not understand it. I don't have permissions to provide a details of mine to you. Okay. So how service to service communication happens? So that can be done via roles. Okay. So now just we'll go to the same here also. Policy only will add it. Just we'll go to the roles. So click on, these are the roles are there. Here we are going to create a role. So in the roles, service to service communication, this is my source service. So from my source service supported only two things. One is EC2 and Lambda. So source service is EC2. Click on next. So here we need to add the policy. So I'm attaching the S3. Full access I'm providing. I want to get the full permissions. S3. Next. My role name is EC2 to S3. Full access. This is my role name. Inside my role name, I have selected one policy. That policy name is S3 full access. Create a role. One role has been provided. Okay, so now I'm going to one of the service called EC2. Don't worry about the launching the server and everything. We will tell you everything. Okay, so EC2 is one of the service for creating the virtual servers. So just we'll go to the dashboard. Click on the instances. I'm going to launch one instance. Okay, so the name we are getting is role testing. Don't worry about this part. We will cover this in the next session. How to create a server, what is the virtual server. Okay, just I want to show one example to you. Just creating one server here. Don't worry about this is North Virginia. Don't worry about all these things. We will discuss in upcoming classes. So now my requirement is, so now I have This is my EC2 server. Okay, so this is my S3. So this is one service and this is another service. So one service is EC2, another service is S3. So if you go to the S3, this is one service. Okay, so we'll go with IAM also. So this is my S3. This is my EC2. Okay, so now EC2, I have launched one server here. So this is my S3. So if I want to get the information of S3 into my EC2, so I want to get the information of S3 into my EC2. So when I'm typing anything, so the system will not understand it. If you're sending any request to the S3, so the system will not understand it. I don't have any permissions to get the information of other service. Okay, so now once the server is ready, just I will grade you. So when we can log into the server, this is a virtual server. So in the next class, we'll discuss about how to create a servers, detailed information. So here status check 2x2 will comes. So then only we can log into the server. So don't worry about launching the server, how to log in it. Every option we'll discuss in the next class detailedly. Just to see the roles concept, we require one server. Any server, virtual server. So I want to get the information of my S3. EC2. Okay, so this is my EC2 one instance. Okay, so once we got the status check 2x2, select the server, take the public IP. So I'm going to connect the server. So don't worry about this connecting part. I will guide you everything. Open, accept. Okay. So clear screen. Now I'm into the EC2 virtual server here. So this I'm logging into the server. I want to get the information of S3. So what we can do? So we have to write some command AWS S3 ls. Okay, so when you type AWS is a command line prompt. So you can type S3 ls. It is telling that unable to get the information. I'm not getting the S3 related information. I'm not getting it. So these are 4 buckets are available. S3, so storage service, we have 4 buckets are there. So I'm trying to get the information of S3 into my EC2. So EC2 will not understand it. So what we will do, so if you want to make a service to service communication, source server should be EC2 and destination server is S3. So service to service communication, if you want to make it, so then we'll go with roles. So which is your source? Okay, so this is a custom role I have created it. So EC2 to S3 full access. My source is EC2, my destination is S3. Just I have opened this. So I have inside this also, we have permissions. S3 full access we have given. Just I will go to this instance, go to the actions tab, security, modify IAM role is there. Just click on this modify IAM role. EC2 S3 full access role is there. Just select this role, update the role. Now go to the server and type the same command. We got S3 information. How we got it? So we have added one IAM role to the server. So in that role, we are telling that get the full permissions of S3. I want to communicate to the S3. So destination will be S3. So S3 information I will get it. So if you go to the server, okay. So again, we will go to our server dashboard running. So this is my server. Select the server, go to the actions tab, security, modify IAM role is there. Just click on the modify IAM role. I have created this custom IAM role. I'm telling that no IAM role. Update it. Confirm by detach. Now, no IAM role is there. Just will come here and type same thing AWS S3 LS. So if you are not attaching any IAM role to the server, so it is not able to get the information of my S3. So if you want to provide a service to service communication, so that can be done via roles by attaching the policy. But while creating the role, so what is your source server and destination server? If you want to get the permissions, so we need to attach the policy to the role. Okay, so source should be always EC2 or Lambda. Destination may be any service. Okay, so now if I type something like this is a CLI command to get the list of S3 information. You type a number of times, we are not getting the S3 information. Okay, so if you want to get the S3 information, go to the actions tabs, security, which server you want to add it. So running instances, you can see running instances only. Select the server, actions, security, modify it. Just update the IAM role. So now IAM role has been updated to the server. So just now, again, we will go to the server and type the same. We'll get the list of yes. So service to service communication, if you want to make it, so that can be done via roles. Okay, user level permissions, we will attach the policies, but one service to another service, if you want to attach it, so that can be done via roles. Okay, so this is the concept of roles. Okay, understood, guys? Any doubts, any questions?
I think I'll get a lot of doubts when I'm starting practicing this one.
Okay, sorry, voice is breaking.
For now, I can't say anything because I need to practice on this. Because when we are working, we come across a lot of things.
Yes, yes. Okay. So here we don't have any coding part is there. So just we are making the configurations. Everything it's a UI looks like. So just we are making the configurations here. So we don't writing any Java logics, .NET logics, any programming logics. We are not writing it. So even if we are generating this JSON document, so we are not writing anything manually. So we have the editors, we have the tools are there. Just we have to understand which service we are working at. So which functionality you require it. Okay, it depends upon you how you are choosing the policies. Same thing, they will talk about the roles means service to service communication. Source server should be always EC2 or Lambda. And destination service should be any service. So any service, how to get the permissions. So policy, we are attaching to the role. Okay, so like this. Okay, so this is the example for your roles example. So my source server is EC2 server, one server, and another server is S3 server. If you want to do the communication from EC2 S3, S3 related permission should be created under the role. That role has to be attached to the server. So then only we can get the permissions. Okay, so this is about your IMA. So IMA, they will talk about IMA, users, user groups, roles, policies. Okay. Types of policies, what is meant by role, what is meant by user groups, what is policies, policy documents. Okay, so these things only they will talk in the interview perspective. Okay, so the next thing is we are going to discuss about the CLI, command line interface. Okay, so tomorrow we'll start with the CLI part. So try to practice, guys. Every day, what are the things we are telling it? Try to practice on that day itself. Don't feel that I will do everything practice at the weekend. Okay, so do the practice everything what the same day itself. You can easily understand the topics. So if you go through 1 week, I will go everything Monday morning to evening. I will sit it. I will understand it. I will go. Okay. So that don't keep burden on you. Try to practice on the same day itself. Okay. It's like a concept oriented. AWS don't have a coding part. No logical thinking, nothing we have it. Just we need to have a understand the concept, what the roles will do, what the policy will do. So how the permissions are getting, creating the multiple users, log into the user. So if you update this value, how it is reflecting for the user. Okay. So those type of options we need to select it and we need to test it. Okay. So that's of your roles and policies. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see the CLI part. Okay. So if you have any doubts, I will clarify it. Otherwise, we are going to wind up the class today. Tomorrow we'll catch with new topic.
Okay. Shyam sir, like in organization, will they give a roles like what all roles should be given to your user or something like that? Will they
Roles
provide?
from EC2, if you are doing some application to the databases, the database permissions you want to do in the server. For example, we have a, so this is my source is EC2. So now I have one database here. So when I'm trying to connect from EC2 to the database, this is something like another service, RDS, MySQL, or PostgreSQL. So if you want to get the permissions for the MySQL, if you type something like MySQL or anything, it will not understand by the system because we don't have permissions to these things. So we'll go to the IAM role and we'll give the permissions to the RDS related permissions, and that role we will attach to the server so that we can communicate from the EC2 server to the S3. So in the destination place, it may be any kind of a service, S3, database, anything. So source should be our EC2, destination may be any service. So which destination communication you want to make it, so that we have to write a rule. In that role, we need to select the policy and attach that role to the server. So destination, what they are using it, so that role we need to attach it. That depends upon you how we are writing these policies. Okay, everything is rely on the policy only, permissions only. Okay. Okay. So tomorrow we'll start with CLI. Okay, try to practice, guys. So if you stuck at somewhere, don't keep the doubts or questions on your mind. Okay, so keep on asking it. We will guide you to tell everything for you. Okay, so we are all in the learning phase. Don't feel bad. Okay, you can ask any type of a question. Okay, chalo, bye guys. Tomorrow we'll catch up.